He pressed down on the gas. Night covered the desert in immense darkness. Thankful for its protection, he still didn't feel safe. Someone was following him, and he drove faster till the car began to shake. The feeling remained. Whoever was in back of him was gaining ground. No lights showed on the road behind, but that didn't matter. He pressed harder on the gas, and the whole structure of the car responded with a violent shudder. Behind him in the dimensionless blackness, the other car roared nearer. And then it happened. He couldn't say how. More, he was aware that the idea was completely irrational and unacceptable, but it stuck. He had no means of shaking, disassembling it. Behind him, a dim image formed, a face with nebulous features. By some trick, the one who had been following him had gotten to the car, was sitting in back of him now, and waiting for him to turn. But he would not turn. Suddenly he knew why. That was the object of the one behind him. To divert his attention from the road, a split second of negligence, and he'd be off of it, and mangled in the wreckage of the car. He wants me to die, Luis told himself. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Book Graveyard, vintage genre fiction channel here on YouTube. We're also out in the podcast world. If you listen there, thanks so much. And we have a blog also, if you'd rather see the written word. Today I'm going to discuss a very odd noir, something that I was not expecting. And it is A Killer's Kiss by Hal Ellson. This was a Valentine's Day present from my wife. Get it? It's romantic. So as you can see, it looks like a femme fatale noir there. I'm going to read off the blurb here because I just wanted to show you that that's how it's marketed, and it's not what it is. A Killer's Kiss. A woman's voice in the next room calling his name softly. A note slipped underneath the door. This was Luis' introduction to Francine. She was beautiful, lonely, and she wanted one night of fun in the little town with no questions asked. All right. Downstairs in the lobby, waiting, was the detective. Luis knew that the escape he had planned so carefully in prison had reached a dead end. Still, one prison dream was now within his grasp. He opened the door to Francine's room. So it sounds like there's going to be a lot going on, like a basic crime novel. And not at all. All right, well, so we'll just put that up on screen so I don't have to hold it. Killer's Kiss is a paperback originally published by Hillman Books in 1959. And I could not figure out who that cover artist is. I looked and I looked. If anyone out there knows, they should get credit because that is one hell of a beautiful cover, man. I would pick that up in a second if I saw it in the store. So the author, Hal Ellson, was an American author, and he is 100% not Harlan Ellison. I, like many other people, many comments that I saw online, just assumed that it was a kind of working pseudonym of Harlan Ellison, and it is not. And interestingly enough, Harlan Ellison credits Hal Ellison as the inspiration for writing his very first novel, Web of the City. So our author here, Hal Ellison, worked at Bellevue Hospital, Manhattan, New York City as a nurse's aide. He also did time as a social worker and a recreational therapist, whatever that is. So he worked with lots of misguided youth. He took their tales of woe, their misguided shenanigans, and he penned many juvenile delinquent novels. In fact, he is claimed to be one of the best people to ever do it. And though Killer's Kiss is my first Hal Ellison penned book, I would surmise that those juvenile delinquent books have a very realistic and sympathetic viewpoint of the kids, and not the usual kind of exploitation of that genre, as Killer's Kiss really explores the humanity of the bad guy. So our protagonist, I guess, the focus of the story here is Luis Santiago. He's on a bus. He was recently released from prison, and he just stabbed some guy, I guess, a couple pages before it starts. He's taking the bus to go to his brother's house. We are somewhere in Mexico, It's never really stated. And in fact, it's not stated that they're even in Mexico. You just kind of figure it out as it goes along. So we get to his brother's house. Luis's brother is not happy to see him. We hear a woman call from back in the house. Jesus, who's there? Jesus replies, no one. Luis is gutted here. That's who I am to you. I'm no one. No one to my family. His brother asks him why he needs the money, and Luis states that he wants to go to the U.S. border. They will never let you cross the border. He hands him enough money for the bus and tells him to never come back. So back in town, Luis realizes that he is absolutely alone in the world. He was desperate before, but now it's almost as if he doesn't care what happens to him. He goes to a bar. He's paranoid. Is that man staring at me? Another man bumps into him. It's a man wearing a cowboy hat. And his eyes are drunken, blurry. He's friendly though, or maybe he's just pretending to be friendly to gain Luis's trust. Right away, we see the inner workings of Luis's mind. He's constantly looking over his shoulder, seeing enemies and strangers' faces. He knows the police are after him. He wants to run, and he's in the process of running, but he also meanders. In his mind is the battle between giving in to his inevitable fate and his will to survive. So the man in the cowboy hat invites Luis to come join him and his friends, and Luis is sure that this will end in a lynching, but he has no one. He is nothing. He starts to walk out the door with the man and his friends, resigned to his fate, and the man simply turns around and states, they won't let us gamble in here. A dozen men pile into the cars. At first they're boisterous and drunk. They drive and drive. They drive out to the middle of nowhere. And all of a sudden, the further they get out of town, the less they start talking. Luis starts getting it into his mind. These people are out to get him. This is where they're going to take him. They're going to take him out in the middle of nowhere, shoot him in the head. The scene is written beautifully. Ellison is out, and the endless night of the desert, the pitch blackness. Luis's character is very high-strung. He's very nervous. He doesn't seem to mind so much that he's already killed a man, but the stress of him getting caught for it overwhelms him. You feel at any moment that the smallest thing could set him off. He's on the sharp edge of a razor blade, slowly sliding to his ultimate demise. They arrive at the house, everyone gets out, he's sitting in the car. Finally, the guys come up to him like, what are you doing? Because Luis thinks they're just waiting out there to kill him. They go inside the house, they start gambling. Everyone's drinking, having a good time. Luis he's winning and losing. In the final bet with the man with the hat, the man with the cowboy hat, he pushes it all in for the final bet. And Luis, he doesn't want to look weak in front of all these other guys. So he pushes it all in also. He loses. And the guy with the cowboy hat, who's been so friendly to him the whole time, is still just like, hey, man, you win some, you lose some. But once you come back next time, hey, maybe you'll win next time. The man gets up, goes down to the desert to take a leak. Luis follows him. He's going to kill him. You know it. You know he's going to kill him. Get that money. And he goes out there, and the man begs for his life. And you see the first moment where Luis is human. There's lots of comments in this book about what makes a killer, what makes people do what they do. Are they born this way? Is it something that happened to them? So the character of Luis is very deep, very complex. So here's this man who's been friendly to him the whole night, and you think he's just going to get it. And Luis spares his life, but he does rob him. So he's got all this money now. Then Luis just walks out into the desert. He knows that there is this mountain that he can go hide out in. And this is where it starts getting kind of weird. I mean, the desert at night scenes were kind of surreal, and being in Luis's head and the paranoia and just everywhere you go, everyone is looking at you. Are they watching you? While he's up in the mountain, he's up in his cave hideout, he looks down and it looks like there's a man down there in the middle of the night just staring up at him. And, he's already paranoid, but he's like, all right, whatever, I'm just going to go to sleep. His nightmares of scorpions crawling all over his body, and they relate the scorpion to a creature just doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be metaphoric, I believe. So he wakes from this dream, and he looks straight forward to the entrance to the cave, and there's light out there now, and he can see that there's a shadow of a man standing at the entrance of the cave. And he panics, and he jumps up, and he runs further on down inside the cave. He gets lost, kind of has this mental breakdown, and then he finds his way back out. And down in the ravine is the wagon, and there's the man that he thinks that he saw Or was it? So who was the man that was standing outside of the cave? Was he really there? He offers the old man money for a ride into town on his wagon. And the old man just simply states that the ride is free. This part of the book, and the way that these little scenarios happen, it kind of reminded me of a very dark version of the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou movie. I know there's probably other examples, but that's just the first thing that came to mind, where he meets these people and they're kind of off, and there's like this, almost like this spiritual kind of philosophical encounters with them. So we get this really surreal chapter of this old man taking him to his home where they meet up with his grandson, and neither say much of anything. And the silence of the old man and the grandson makes an already secluded area feel even more empty. So the boy takes him to a hotel that's really close. So now we're kind of back in society. The hotel owner is not thrilled to see Luis show up with no bags and no car. Luis goes upstairs. The room is pitch black. He tries to sleep, but it makes him feel like he's back in prison. He dreams of footsteps outside of his door, the guard walking down the hallway, and then all of a sudden there's gunshots outside. He thinks it's part of the dream when he wakes up, but no, there's actually someone shooting off a gun outside. The hotel is isolated, but there is a tourist couple, an American tourist couple there, who basically just get annihilated down at the bar all night long. One night, Luis goes down to the bar, and the man is already passed out. He strikes up a conversation with the woman, and they end up going up to his room. But in the midst of getting it on, he just stops like 2 minutes in and gets up. He's just not feeling it. He's a very detached human being, and he looks down, and she has passed out. So he goes to her purse, whatever, grabs the keys, goes and takes her car, steals her car, drives out to the mountain. We get this very surreal highway trip. He thinks that someone is following him. He keeps thinking someone's in the back seat. It's very Twilight Zone. It's very David Lynch. He wrecks the car, and he starts walking towards the mountain. And I don't want to tell you the whole book, because that's no fun. But I just want to, hopefully that sells you on it. It does get even more weird. This next part is probably one of the weirder ones, where he is out in the desert, and he finds this drinking hole, and he looks up, and there's a woman standing up in the rocks, but she's not moving. And then all of a sudden there's a man who comes up out in the middle of nowhere, and he doesn't really say much, and they're just drinking at the water. Luis looks up, and he sees that the woman is moved. The man comments that it's a statue called the Lady of the Water, and Luis says, "It can't be a statue, I just saw her move." And the man's like, "Yeah, she does that sometimes, and she also smiles at you." And then the man starts walking off into the desert, and Luis doesn't know what to do, so he just starts following the man into the desert. And these scenarios, like the old man, anybody who's like a local, is very minimal in dialogue, and Luis is very paranoid and very conflicted on what to do with these situations. You don't know when he's going to kill one of these people or when he's just going to walk off. And then the last portion of the book, he is back in town. He's back in this hotel, and there's a man that he thinks is a police officer who's out to get him. There's a woman. So there is a woman in this, but he does not care about her whatsoever. She's not a femme fatale. She's also a very complex, depressing story going on. She's an American woman on vacation in Mexico. Luis is like, he thinks it's very weird that a woman is on vacation by herself, but he's also like, well, she is an American, and that's how they are. It gets very dreamlike, where Luis even questions if any of this has been happening. It's not a dream, just so I'll just put that out there, because if it was, I would tell you, because that sucks. I hate when it's just a dream. It's real, but Luis thinks he's dreaming. There's all these very psychological cat and mouse kind of conversations with him and the man that he thinks is a cop. And there's also perspective from this man, and we get lots of philosophical musings on what it is that makes killers kill, what it is that makes people who they are, and then they relate it to how the scorpion is a killer, but it's just its natural instinct. When I was reading this, I was like, you know what this reminds me of? It's like The Stranger, like Albert Camus' The Stranger, but it's like a stranger for like working class people. It's very noir. It's very like in that style. It could almost be a black and white movie. It wouldn't be like one of the major ones. Like it'd be off center, because it has so much feeling in it that is very unreality. I think if you like stuff like Lost Highway or any David Lynch really, or what's that black and white horror movie? Ah, shit. So yeah, this is one that is like nothing I've ever read. It is dark. It's very dark. It's very noir. It's crime. It's smart. It's very psychological, and makes you kind of question as to why people actually do the things that they do, and if there's any control in it. So I say yes, go check this out. They're available online, not too much. They're like $12 to $20 about. And now I'm really looking forward to reading one of his juvenile delinquent books. I think I have some over there. And that's it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I am